So here's the frame that I'm planning on building on top of. You can see it's 25 feet long, about 2¼ on the ball. It's all a little rusty, but the previous owner stripped all of everything off of it, except for he left the tanks and a few pipes and wires and things. It has 3,500 pound axles. Wasn't actually sure of that when I bought it, but I found these aluminum tags wrapped around it that had the make and the listing and things on it. You can see there's one tag over there, all dirty. So I'll need to get new tires, but the axles themselves should be fine. At the moment, I'm soaking all of the bolts and everything in PB Blaster, and I'm planning on pulling them all out and just taking it all apart wherever I can, and then I'll lightly sand, probably not going to strip everything off, but I'll lightly sand the frame here and then paint it with Rust-Oleum, the rusty metal primer, and then just black paint, so it'll help protect it and keep it from rusting away. You can see the water tank there. It's got a little bit of frozen water in the bottom. I don't think it had any issues with the freezing, but hopefully it won't leak when it all thaws out. So I'm currently pulling the tanks out. Here's the black water tank. It's got a few broken bits on it, but it's not too bad. Now I took off the tire and it seems to be in decent condition. So these rollers in the back here, I'll probably just cut off. They're kind of mashed. They're supposed to make it so that when you drive over a bump and the top or the front goes up, and the back will hit those instead of hitting the ground. I might just build some sort of slides and put there instead of a roller, because these are very obviously broken. Next here, I'm going to try to pull out this gray water tank here and see if I can not break this pipe here in this joint, which comes over here, and then that'll leave me access to clean off and sand the frame a little bit. Hopefully I'll clean the back half of it here, and I'll paint or prep and paint that, and then I'll reverse it and do the front half, so whichever half is being painted will be in the garage and in protection, won't get rained on. Before I paint, I've got this prep ball here. It's wax and grease remover. As you can see, it actually is really amazing stuff. A friend of mine recommended it, and I used it when I painted my truck, and it seems to work very well. Paint thinner for cleaning things up, or thinning paint, obviously. The paint that I'm using. So we've got our Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer. That is very. Here's a new can. So this rusty metal primer used on heavily rusted metal for ultimate finish. It's definitely what I've got here. It's about $9 a quart, which isn't bad at all. I bet 2 quarts will be enough to make the frame. And then I'll be using this high performance protective enamel, oil based. It's gloss black. It doesn't have to be gloss. I just like glossy stuff. It's the same price, about $9.50 a quart or something. So all said and done, it'll cost me about, I guess, $35–40 to paint the trailer. Bought a few brushes too. These steps here seem like they're in fairly good condition. I don't know if I'll keep both of them. Basically, you're supposed to lift up. There you go. Supposed to lift up, lift out, down, drop down. Seem to work fairly well. But this one is right in the back here, and then there's one all the way forward here. So I might just take this one off and chuck it, or I might leave it and put a ladder above it to climb on the roof or something. I don't know yet. But there are 2 of them, and I think I'll only have 1 door. I think the back one was originally for a bedroom or something, or maybe the front one was for the bedroom, so that this will be divided into 2 halves. So you'd have the bathroom and things, the main living area here, and then you have the bedroom with a private doorway and stairway, and then other beds or whatever in the middle. since I do have the 3,500 pound axles, I figured that the structure I'm building on it will probably be like 5,000 to 5,500 pounds. So that'll give me a little bit of play there. I might have to add heavier axles, although I'm not sure what that would do to the frame. It might overly stress it, so I might have to change that, or I don't know. I'll just start building on it and see what I end up with. I've weighed, or at least based on the standard weight of 2x4s and plywood and such, I figured it out in a spreadsheet, but we'll see how it actually ends up. The guy who's taking apart appears to have cut through this rail here, so I have to weld that guy back shut. But other than that, it seems in pretty good shape. These axles do have electric brakes in them. All the wires for all of that are just cut and they're hanging, so I'll have to run new wires to those. But I think they should work. They look like they're in decent shape. Probably pull the axle hubs apart and grease the bearings too, because when you grab a wheel and it's jacked up and you shake it, it's got a tiny bit of play in it, maybe just a hair more than you want, so I'll just repack those and they should be fine. Here I'm basically trying to weld the holes shut and grind them smooth, because ideally this frame won't leak at all. It'll be kind of sealed up. I might drill a hole in the bottom of the frame at the front or the back to let any water gets in and out, but hopefully this will help it. Today I'm prepping the frame a little bit more. I took a wire brush and I scratched it up real good all over, and well, I think the paint will stick fine to it. It's still very rusty. It would take a very long time if I actually wanted to wire weave the whole thing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm basically going to primer the half of the trailer that's in the garage, and then maybe turn it around or do something to cover it and primer the half that's outside, because it's still getting down pretty cold at night to somewhere around freezing, and I don't think it would be real good for the primer if it froze immediately after it was put on while it was still wet. I'm using that rusty metal primer and it seems to adhere really well.